I'm LaVerne Nash. I want to give an oral history of my grandfather, who was very influential in the Cleveland, Ohio, Bohemian neighborhoods community. He was an editor of the Czech newspaper called Svět, and he gave a lot of speeches, and he was very active in dramatics at Bohemian National Hall in Cleveland. And in 1940, he was selected as an elector for President Roosevelt's nomination for a second term in the White House. So his youth, he was born in Vienna, Austria, of a Czech mother and I think a Prussian father. But they spoke, from what I gather, Bohemian or Czech in the household. And he was selected by his mother to become a priest. But when he went to the monastery, that was not his career. He was more politically involved. He was very upset with the Austrian-Hungarian regime. The regime was very oppressive to the Czechs. In fact, on one store, it read, "No Jews, no Czechs, no dogs allowed." This was the Austrian-Hungarian treatment of the Czechs. And my grandfather, being a rebel, was against this oppression and started writing pamphlets about freedom. And the Austrian-Hungarian regime was so outraged, they put him under surveillance. And this was now in Loni, Bohemia. Backtracking a little bit, my great-grandfather was a railroad engineer, and he moved to Loni, Bohemia, which is about 70 miles northwest of Prague, I would say, maybe 65 miles. Anyway, since my grandfather was put under surveillance for writing obstinate or, against the regime, he had to report to the police. And it just so happened that the police chief of Loni had a daughter named Matilda Fosek. And my grandfather's name is Oscar Niederli. He met my grandmother, Matilda, in 1904 and fell in love with this young Bohemian girl. She was very poor and very Catholic, but at 14, she was easily persuaded by my grandfather, who was 9 years her senior, to question the doctrine of the church, to protest against the persecution of her people. And to this young girl's parents, this man was a heretic, an anarchist. And so she was instructed not to see him. But one factor emerged that kept the family from dictating absolute forbiddance to see Oscar Niederli, was that he was leaving for America. And so she would either soon forget him or follow him to America, which would mean one less mouth to feed. So, America at the time was the new hope. You could start a new life. The streets were paved with gold. And so for many Czechs who were thwarted under the regime of the Austro-Hungarian rulers, America was another chance. So these are the letters then that my grandfather wrote to my grandmother Matilda Fosek on his voyage to America. And it was Saturday, February 11th, 1905, from on board the steamship Cassels. And he writes, "Far into the world I am going, and I look into the horizon, and I wonder what will become of us. On board ship, there are many young people. They dance and sing. Two people, a young man and girl, are very much in love. Their parents objected, so they are fleeing to America. It is 7 a.m. here and 11 a.m. where you are. Tomorrow it will be Sunday, and you shall be walking the boulevard, and I shall be beside you in spirit." February 12th. We are still sailing quietly and calmly, although the swells are like high-ice mountains. The boat separates the water as if it were thick lava, and it sprays and foams. I am counting the days when we shall arrive in America. I am preparing myself for a new life and looking forward to working for you, for both of us. There are 4 of us sharing this cabin. A Polish fellow who left his wife and 3 children. He promises to work very hard so he can send for them. Also with us is a Slovak who left his wife and 2 small children and is looking forward when they can all join him in America. I am on deck. The deck for cabin tourists is higher than the deck for steerage. One can see across the entire boat on both sides. All the tourists are on deck. Everyone is dressed in their Sunday best, ready to eat dinner. There are 2,000 people, a small village. One can hear music and singing from all sides. The violin, harmonica overcomes all. The Polish are dancing the polka, the Hungarians the czardas. Everyone is so free. February 13, 1905. It is Monday, 3:30 a.m., and in Bohemia it is daylight and lively. Here everyone is sleeping and the boat is rocking gently. It is very peaceful, except for the sound of the ship's bell or the whistle of the boatswain on watch, which interrupt my thoughts. Only 3 more days on the water and we will be in our destination. Frank Havlicek, my cabin mate, just came with his violin, a Hungarian with his accordion, and the ship's steward with the flute. They played beautifully until dinner time. February 15th, 1905. It is Wednesday, and tomorrow we are to arrive in port, but we cannot make it because the ocean is stormy and we have made little mileage. Every day the boat should make 300 miles, but the last few days we made only 180. So we shall arrive in Baltimore on Friday. Everyone is yearning to go ashore. Wives are joining their husbands, children their parents, young men are avoiding the army, and hundreds of people will be seeking work. Everyone is joyful and longing for America, as if they were going on a picnic. February 16th. The ocean is terrible, horrifying. The waves engulf us. The boat is being tossed like a ball. Snowy squalls beat the boat. Most of the passengers are seasick. It is impossible to stay on deck for 5 minutes. Everyone is in their cabins. Women, children, men are praying. Frank Havlicek and I are singing our flag to bolster our spirits. We are amazed at the power of the angry sea. February 17th, Friday. It was 2:30 a.m. when Mr. Novak came rushing into the cabin yelling, "Oscar, land!" I woke up quickly and jumped out of bed and heard joyful people all running on deck. The darkness of night prevents seeing anything. The boat sailed into Chesapeake Bay and stopped. In 2 minutes, the tugboat was near the deck and took charge of accompanying the boat into the bay. Many lights are seen on the shore and from other encircling boats. Impatiently we all await dawn. At last, the coast. Tilda, he called my grandmother Tilda. How we all felt at ease, free and beautiful. On both sides, we can see fields, woods, and farms. The boat rocks gently, and the tugboat escorts us quickly. The bay is full of ice, and a freezing wind hits our cheeks. But it doesn't keep us from staying on deck. We are amazed at the beauty of the land. It is 3:30 p.m. now, and the boat is slowly turning sideways toward the pier, where it will dock snugly. We are lucky to reach our goal freely. February 17th. The first night, all of us had to sleep in the government building. The next day, my aunt came for me, and I was free in America. But it was worse for the others. Those who could not produce enough money or didn't have a friend or relative to claim them would have to return to Europe. Mr. Hlavacek yelled and swore he'd rather have himself shot than be returned. I promised him and two others that I would liberate them, so they waited until I came for them. Immigration, caused a lot of problems for the people that left their country. They had to adjust to a new home. The land had a different language. There were different ideals, traditions, and values. Some immigrants had jobs waiting, others had to seek jobs, and they were often had to accept low wages. And newcomers usually seek homes where their countrymen have already settled. But every immigrant had to decide whether he wants to retain his old way of life or take an active part in his new community. My grandfather continues to write, I am with my aunt and am well off. My uncle owns his own house, which is big and beautiful. Here, nearly every family owns their own home. It is a fabulous life. How your entire family would enjoy America. Tilda, soon you and your brother will join me and live happily. I am not working yet. My aunt and uncle won't allow me to work, and I must not make them angry. Frank Havlicek lives in an inn about 15 minutes from me and is with us every day in the afternoon until evening. He plays the piano and the violin with my cousins, and I sit in the rocking chair and think of you. I have 4 male cousins and 3 female cousins. Every one of them plays the piano and sings beautifully. Anna is married. Marie will be getting married in about 6 months. And Tanya loves Halavicek. They are in love, but will have to wait as she is only 14. Your mother and father probably will consent. I will ask for your hand. For the time being, I will be making $2 a day. You will be my wife, and you will not have to work. Here, every woman is highly regarded and has many rights, sometimes more than a man. March 25th. For the time being, I am sending you $6. I am saving diligently so that I may send you money for you and your brother's passage. I am now working in the editorial room of the Baltimore Daily newspaper. Mr. Hlavacek is in the printing room. During the day, I work in the editorial room and at night at the barber shop so that I can send all money that is possible for the passage. It is wonderful to live in memories and long for the days when I will be with you. I work only for you, Tilda, and you will be proud of me. Soon you will be leaving. I must save $120 for the passage. It will take at the most 5 months to earn that much. Don't give up. You and your brother Joseph could both go steerage for $70, but I will not let you travel that way. April 6th. 1905. Just received an offer letter. In 1 hour, I shall be traveling to the beautiful city of Cleveland, 600 miles to the west by train. It takes 1 night and a half day. I have been accepted as an editor. Now it shall be easy to save. And this is for my grandmother, Matilda Fosek, and her background is a little bit different. Had my grandmother's father been a responsible man, he would not have allowed his family to suffer. For as the Czech and Austria-Hungary Empire, he had a good job as chief of police in Loni. However, he was an excessive gambler, addicted to cards. He lost most of his money. He kept his family in a state of poverty. Tilda writes from Loni, Bohemia, on April 25th, 1905. I must write you how we are doing at home. Lately we have had great poverty. We didn't have anything to eat, and the town has helped with 100 crowns, so we are slightly better. But as soon as we spend that, it will be the same as before. That my father could borrow 100 crowns is out of the question. No one here believes him or would loan him. I shall rejoice when I am in America with you. My grandfather answers her on May 1st, 1905. In June, I shall send your passage, and in July you will be here. I shall explain everything in detail so you may travel safely. If it is the matter of the train ride that you don't speak German, don't be afraid. It is only for a day and a half. On the boat, it is like being in a living room. I shall be waiting in Baltimore for you and will escort you off the boat. Yesterday, I took a beautiful ride 50 miles past Cleveland to the town of LaVerne. Widespread farms, rolling hills, trees covered with blossoms made a picturesque scene. It is easy to purchase a farm here. We shall take walks in our garden. In the evening, we'll read and shall sing with our tea. Frank Lovicek will be here in a week from Baltimore. I acquired a job for him in our printing office. I have also secured a job for your brother Joseph when he arrives. He will make $3 a day. I am so happy to be patient and industrious for you. Be sure in your heart you want to join me. We must be tolerant, teach each other, have a mutual recognition. In America, we must be joined in a civil ceremony, but that won't matter. You will always be free. Learn to read a lot. June 6th. Are you ready for the trip? In about 5 days, I shall send the money. How I am looking forward to seeing you. I have rented a house. Yesterday, I bought furniture, 2 beds, 2 tables, 5 chairs, a night table, dresser, and stove. I had to pay $80 for the furniture. Tell them at customs when you arrive that you have no job. Anyone who has a job assured cannot come here. Unskilled labor is preferred and can be acquired cheaply. Write immediately from home when you leave. At the train depot, the agent will tell you which boat you will travel on. Do not take any unnecessary things, but don't forget my books, especially Modern Review. As soon as you receive the money, leave the next day. Do not wait for anything. Oh, how the time flew. Many of the letters of correspondence between my grandparents were destroyed or thrown away. But the last letter found in a trunk in the attic was written by Tilda on June 20th, 1905, from Loni, Bohemia. She writes, "The time has flown like water. We are waiting daily for the money, just as you wrote. It is said all money that is sent across the ocean must come through the Viennese bank. Therefore, every day is a delay. How glad I am that I will be leaving, but I am afraid. I want to send the baggage, but we didn't have money for the stamps on the trunk, so I had to pawn my ring. I hope the money arrives soon, as I have only one dress and soon won't have anything to wear. I have left the church. At the church council, they said nothing, but the proclamation tacked on the door of the church announces my excommunication to the distress of my parents. Wish me luck, my love. I will be with you soon. And that is the end of the letters between my grandmother and my grandfather coming to America. My grandfather was a very strong and dedicated man to the Czech influence in Cleveland. And I have a picture of him, if you would like to see that.
Yes, please.
Yes, this is a picture of my grandfather. He must have been about 25 or 26 here.
Very
Can you see that? Yes. And this is a picture of my, would you believe she looks so young? This is on the crossing. I don't know that it's on the crossing to America, but it's sent to my grandfather in Baltimore as he was waiting. And this is a picture of my grandmother.
Oh.
This is a picture of them with this is my mother, Yarmila Niederly, and my uncle Eric Niederly, Matilda Niederly, and my grandfather Oscar. So, you know, like I said, he became chief oh dear, I'm nervous. Editor of the Cleveland newspaper, Czech paper called the Svět. And in 1940, he was elected to the office of presidential elector for the state of Ohio. And he was received by President Roosevelt and Vice President Wallace. And in 1948, he was sent to Czechoslovakia to report on the communist takeover. That was the first trip back after a 43-year absence. And it was the last time he returned to his homeland. For once again, Czechoslovakia, after surrendering to Nazi invasion, was locked in the squeeze of another aggressor. I think it was in 1974. My mother translated all of these letters. Had it not been for her, I could have never read these letters, and it would have just taken too long for me to try to translate them. I don't know the Czech language. I just have a few, you know, Dobrý den and jak se máš and Dobrou noc and that kind of thing. And I can understand it. I went to the Czech school when I was a little girl, but then we moved away from Cleveland and I lost it. I lost a lot of the language. You know, I really don't know because it's a dead end. No, I don't know. I wish he had. I would imagine he would have kept in touch with Frank Hlavicek because of they were working together at the Svět. But I don't know. I don't remember. In fact, I don't remember. You know, because we left Cleveland when I was 12. But in 1948, like I said, he went back to Czech Republic, and he was stationed mostly in Prague, and so he wrote about the communist takeover of Czechoslovakia when he returned. So, but he made lots of friends in Cleveland, and I don't know if he kept in touch. I know that I have more letters of communication between my grandmother and her mother, and her sisters. But remember, from 1906 to 1917, prior to World War One, letters were very difficult to receive from America, because at one point, like in 1914, the war started in Europe, and communications were cut off. And my grandmother received letters scolding her for not writing, as she did, but the letters were not going through. And by the time they did go through, her mother had died during World War One. So. I think it's important to, the Czech language is not like Spanish or Italian, even Polish maybe have more of a family bonding than Czechs. Czechs seem to have scattered a lot. I know that in Cleveland they still have the Czech community, but it's hard to keep it. We become homogenized, so to speak. I married an Englishman. Although he supported me in this with my Czech friends and at the Czech Heritage Society. But my children are not dedicated like I am. I mean, I grew up in a close-knit Czech community. We had restaurants and saloons, beer saloons. I remember that a lot, because my parents didn't have a babysitter, and they would take me to the beer joint, we used to call it. And there were Czech churches, and there was the Komensky Hall and Sokol. All those were bonded the people in the Czech community. But as the city grew and people moved away, and of course my grandparents are gone, we scatter and we go on to different places, and sometimes the traditions and the culture is lost. And I regret in a way that I didn't keep up the language. But I have gone back to visit my cousins in Czech Republic. But they too are my age and dying. So I'm too disabled. I have a bad foot. I won't go back. I have to send my grandchildren back. I did take my daughter and my son and my granddaughter to Prague, and we met up with my cousin there, and it was marvelous. It was wonderful, and you want to keep it alive. You really do. You hope that your children will remember and hang on to a little bit of the culture to keep it going through the years.
What is your motivation for sharing your story with us, this oral history? What do you want people to walk away with after listening to your story and your family's history?
Well, I really want them to know what it was like to have left your homeland and come to a foreign country. Like it said, the traditions, the culture, the language is so different from your homeland. And to make that journey and survive and become successful, had it not been for my grandfathers, I wouldn't be here. And I wouldn't have been born in a free country. I would have gone through another World War II, and it would have been devastating. And I think our I want people to know what it meant to newcomers to this country, that here was an opportunity that they didn't have in Europe at the time, and to be proud of what their grandparents and their ancestors did for them to come to America and start afresh and have the opportunity to thrive. And that's what I want them to know. That's what I want to pass on to as a legacy.